everyone!
Hello.
So, we're back.
Yes, we are.
And we have a pretty big haul today.
We do, as a matter of fact.
We've been buying a lot of books.
We've been busy.
So, I'm just gonna go into it.
Go for it.
Since we got a lot to get through here.
You've got more books anyway.
I have more books.
For
I
what?
don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first book I'm gonna show off is this really pretty George Orwell, Burmese Days.
Burmese Days,
Burmese Days. I don't know anything about it.
Aside from the fact that it's George Orwell.
Yeah, who I love.
My first book is Oppression and Liberty by Simone Weil. And she's, 20th century, early 20th century thinker and essayist and theorist and a whole lot of other very interesting things. She's just an all-around interesting person, so look into her and look into her writing.
My next one is someone who has come up before.
That's true.
And that's Dionne Brand, At the Full and Change of the Moon. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like her. I won't lie.
Sometimes,
sometimes I'm not into her. But
I know you didn't like her, not her recent, but not before her recent things.
Things We Long For?
Yes.
I found it like trying a little too hard to be hip is the word. But this looks a little more poetic. I'm into her short stories and her poetry, so
right.
Hopefully I'll like this one.
Fingers crossed. Here's a name I'm going to struggle with. Leroi Jones, Amiri Baraka. This is the fiction of Leroi Jones, Amiri Baraka.
Ooh.
As the same person, Leroi Jones later changed his name to Amiri Baraka, and if you don't know Leroi Jones, he is one of the lesser-known Beats. We all know of the Beat generation, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, William S. Burroughs, but who do we know outside of that? We don't really know the women or the black writers of that group, and Leroi Jones, Amiri Baraka, is one of those marginalized beat writers who is fantastic. I've read his poems, I've read his plays, and now I'm looking forward to reading his fiction.
I'm gonna
I expect you to steal that after me, yeah.
My next one is Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go. I quite like this film, so...
And you like him as a writer.
And I like him as a writer. I really like Remains of the Day, so I will definitely, at some point...
Found you that beautiful first edition.
Is it a first edition?
I think it's a first edition. Zoe already owned it, but I saw the first edition at a thrift store of all places, and I thought, I think I know who this is for. Here's a poet I haven't mentioned before. I know I've been talking about poetry a lot. That is Anne Waldman. Structure of the World Compared to a Bubble. Interesting title. I understand this particular text has a lot to do with Buddhism. So I'm interested that two of my interests, poetry and Buddhism, are here combined. And she just seems like an interesting poet and an interesting person, so it'd be great to finally read her.
My next one is
Next two.
And next two are two by the same author who I love, and that's Thomas King, The Inconvenient Indian, and A Short History of Indians in Canada. I love Thomas King. I'm pretty excited to have two more of his books.
I think it was our last haul video that I talked about this writer. This writer I named as one of my two favorite poets who I've recently discovered in the past year. And that's Jack Spicer, and this is collected poetry. So I'm very much looking forward to reading more of his, especially after thinking, oh, I've gone through everything. That's it. He's dead. He died very young in the 1960s and didn't leave much of a body of work. So
that's exciting.
We'll see what more is in store.
I hope you're not disappointed.
I hope not.
My next one is a writer that I am getting into.
Oh, yes.
I think I mentioned her in fall wrap-up video. But that is Nicole Krauss. This novel is called Great House. I know nothing about it, but I'm sure I will find it delightful, since I have loved everything else I've come across of hers and her husband's.
My next book is All the Roads Are Open by Annemarie Schwarzenbach. And again, on the subject of the beats, we all know about Jack Kerouac's Journeys on the Road, but here is I think it's just a travelogue around the Middle East pre-World War II. Just two women in a car on the road.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yes. Jack Kerouac, eat your heart out.
My next one is a very beautiful Penguin copy of Shirley by Charlotte Brontë. We couldn't have a haul where I didn't get a pretty penguin.
That's true.
And I feel like that's like...
your second pretty penguin. That George Orwell's
Yes.
pretty too.
Yes.
Here's another writer we mention fairly often. That's Susan Sontag, and this is Death Kit. I know you already own this, but as you know, first edition, I didn't want to read your first edition, so I picked myself up a pretty ratty reading copy, which you can read too.
I don't read my Sontag because I don't want to ruin them. She's hard to find.
I don't blame you. She is hard to find, and she's fantastic.
My next one is actually an author that hasn't appeared lately because I'm getting to the end of having a lot of her books.
A lot of hers, and you own a lot of hers.
Yes, but that is Doris Lessing, and I have Mara and Darn. It's alright, they look like it's too...
The font there.
The font is this is a pretty lame graphic design cover.
The graphic design leaves something to be desired.
I don't think this will make my list this year, but one day I'll read it. It's a bit long. I like that the tagline is an adventure.
I like that too, that's very classic.
That's fun.
That is fun, I'm already having fun. Here's another fairly offbeat poet. That's Leslie Scalapino, and this is The Front Matter, The Dead Souls. I think it's two texts combined, so it's The Front Matter and Dead Souls. I've read a couple of hers. I think the most notable was something about a beach. I'll put the cover up. She's a very offbeat writer, very strange. I've never come across anything quite like her. Not overtly poetic, but more, I don't know, just absurd. It's just...
How did you come across that?
She's a poet. She's in a camp of... she was connected, I think, to the Concrete Poets, some school of poetry that I was very deeply immersed in at the time, and her name came up a few times. I read her and took to her like a fish to water, as they say.
My second last book is Caitlin Moran's How to Build a Girl. I've seen a lot of people holding this up, liking it. I liked her memoir. This will be definitely a light read. I don't know when I'll be getting to it, but I'll probably blow through it pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
you
excited.
blew through her memoir pretty quickly.
Yeah.
My last book is The Stories of John Cheever. And John Cheever is a name I've heard a lot, particularly his short stories. They've been mentioned or recommended to me, but I haven't heard a word of his, so I don't know what to expect. Hopefully I'll read it the next year and pretty some kind of feedback, I don't know, positive or negative.
It's quite long.
Well, it's all of his stories.
Yeah.
It's all of his short stories.
Very big.
Yeah, that's the lot.
So my last one, I don't know how I feel about it. I liked the cover design. That's what made this stand out, and then he picked it up.
It's very popular right now, and
Yes.
I thought you might be interested to see. You've always got your ear to the ground.
Yes. It's Me Before You by Jojo Moyes? Moyes, probably. From what I get, it might be a bit poppy for me. I'd love if you guys would let me know.
Oh yeah.
No matter what, I'll probably skim through it, but like, prepare me if you think I'm not gonna like it. Because reading the synopsis, I was like, oh, this could go a couple ways. It could be a little bit, I don't know. So I liked the cover art, and it got a lot of
Penguin.
You know.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and it just it was kind of around. So if anyone can tell me, you guys know my reading thing at this point. Do you think that I will hate it?
That's our home.
Got a lot there. So we'll see you guys.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for watching.